It's the Go Gopher podcast with Mike Grimm, episode number 64. I am Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and welcome back to our podcast. Today we're talking Golden Gopher men's hockey. What else? The top-ranked Maroon and Gold earned a second straight Frozen Four berth and will take on Boston University in one national semifinal game next week in Tampa, Florida. The most outstanding player of last weekend's regional in Fargo was senior Bryce Brodzinski, and he's my guest on this week's Go Gopher podcast. He's part of one of the great hockey families in the state of hockey, and we find out about all kinds of things, including one of his career highlights coming when he was a 10-year-old All-Star playing in a tournament in Winnipeg. We'll also, of course, talk about the Frozen Four, the regional, and a bunch more. Our Go Gopher podcast is presented by alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're a business founder planning to exit your business, start by contacting Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Sunbelt serves more businesses up to $5 million in revenue than anyone, and True North M&A serves companies with revenues up to $150 million. Get a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation business valuation started today. Make the most of your life's work. Do that by visiting sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. We're also glad to have Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union with us on the Go Gopher podcast. Affinity Plus is proud to support Gopher athletics and is a main sponsor of this postseason Gopher hockey run. Affinity Plus is your local credit union throughout the state of Minnesota. You can find out more at affinityplus.org/GoGophers. Our podcast is also sponsored by State Farm agent Tony Hoagland at ChamplinInsurance.com. Tony is a big-time Gopher hockey fan. We're podcasting episode 64 from the Aquarius Home Services studio. One other quick note, if you're a restaurant or a business who would like to have the podcast broadcast from your venue and are interested in partnering with us, please contact the great folks at Talk North. We'd love to be on location. TalkNorth.com is where to go. Find Karen Cleary for details. We invite you to subscribe to the Go Gopher podcast. You can go back and listen to past podcasts as well. Last week, for example, we talked basketball with Golden Gopher Athletic Director Mark Coyle and the voice of Gopher women's basketball, Justin Gard. You'll love that episode, so go back and find it and listen in. This week, though, it's episode 64, the Go Gopher podcast. We're talking Golden Gopher hockey with the red-hot Bryce Brodzinski. He'll join us next.
I'm Clay Geary, walk-on turned scholarship wide receiver for Gopher football.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we're part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at Sunbelt Business Advisors, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit TrueNorthEquityPartners.com.
Hi, Gopher fans. Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on lights, we switch TV channels, we switch on the TV. And with the new transfer portal, some college students even switch colleges, which can seem crazy to us diehard fans. But what's not crazy is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, my agency can switch you over so we can start saving today. My team is ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood and show you it is, in fact, easy to switch and save. When you want the real deal, check us out at ChamplinInsurance.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's episode 64, the Go Gopher podcast with Mike Grimm, and we, of course, this week are talking Frozen Four hockey as the Golden Gophers getting ready for Boston University. They will be leaving early next week for Tampa, Florida, and it will be a week from Thursday, Minnesota and Boston in one national semifinal, and then Michigan and Quinnipiac in the other, and then if all things go as we hope, it'll be a Saturday championship game appearance in Tampa. Our guest is Bryce Brodzinski. He is a former Mr. Hockey in Minnesota, and he is on a heater right now. Bryce, good to see you, man.
Thanks for having me.
How much fun was that last week in Fargo for you and the guys?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously special being in Fargo because it was kind of close, and all the fans that showed up and all the family that was there. It was obviously a pretty special moment being able to win the championship there.
And then you, of course, had a hat trick in the Thursday opening round game against Canisius, and it was a natural as well, 3 straight, and really put the finishing touches on that 9-2 win. What was working that you were able to find the net 3 in a row?
Yeah, I mean, I had the one that got called back, and then after that, I just started shooting the puck every single time I got it, and so Obviously my line mates weren't too mad at me shooting the puck because, they like getting assists sometimes whenever it goes in. So, I just started shooting the puck, and then, luckily they all went in.
You said after the game that you thought that one might get overturned, the double post, I guess, it hit the right and then across to the left. Could you see that maybe it was dicey? Yeah,
well, you can kind of tell the difference between the crossbar and the back crossbar. And it sounded like crossbar pipe. So, I kind of knew it went in, or I knew it didn't go in. So, when guys kind of huddled around, I was asking them if they was going in. They're like, just go through the line anyways, just in case it did go in. So, I kind of figured it didn't go in, but, obviously wasn't too frustrated about it.
Yeah, so you were literally inches away from 4 goals in that game. Take me through that game, too, because, it's the age-old 1 versus 16 and all this stuff. And, obviously once you guys got your legs under you, that major was big. You got a couple of goals, and then it was, you guys were dominating the rest of that game. But what was that like emotionally to get going and get started and get your skates under you? And, how do you try to keep out of your mind this idea that, it's a 1 in 16 and you can't lose and all this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty nerve-wracking because, you're supposed to win. And so, they were up 2-1 on us at one point, and it's kind of a scary thing because you never know what can happen. And so, like you said, luckily we got that 5-minute major and we got a couple of goals. But, right after Kurth kind of scored that goal to give us a lead, I knew there wasn't really any turning back. And, we're a good enough team to where we can kind of outscore teams in some scenarios when we're not playing our best. And, luckily we scored a few goals to get us in the lead. And then, it was a pretty scary moment. I mean, it's not a position that we wanted to put ourselves in for sure, but we were happy that we got the win.
Yeah, once it got going, it got going. I thought too, and again, hockey's this way, which is why that happens sometimes, where a 4 can beat a 1 or a 16 can beat a 1, and that just it was weird early. Some spinning pucks and different things. You guys had some chances, and the puck just the puck luck, as they say, and it's a real thing in hockey. Did you guys feel, now looking back, feel as it was 2-1 there, did you feel like things were tightening up, or did you feel still pretty comfortable, like, hey, this is, because pretty soon as the clock starts melting away, I suppose you're thinking, all right, we gotta kick this thing in gear here.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew that we would have our chances. I mean, they turned the puck over a lot in the first couple of periods when they had the lead, and we just weren't capitalizing on it. And we knew that if we just kind of stuck with it, that those opportunities would end up being goals. And I mean, we didn't really change much. We just eventually started scoring on the opportunities that we got, and but their goalie played unbelievable through the first 2 periods, and kind of got unlucky in the third with a couple of bad bounces, and it was just kind of sticking on top of our game, and then the opportunities that came to us, we were able to put away.
How much did that third period affect you guys in terms of how you started that on Saturday against St. Cloud? It looked like the momentum carried right over to me.
Yeah, I mean, we were definitely confident going into that game, and we kind of saw that any team can play with us if we kind of give it to them, and so we really are. Coach Bonsko was kind of all over us about having a good start and our first couple of shifts, and we thought we played really good in our first couple of shifts and kind of stayed on top of them, and didn't really have any opportunities until about the 10-minute mark of the first period. So we were definitely happy with how we started.
I know I'm around baseball a lot too, and home run hitters can remember almost every home run they hit, even years before. As a goal scorer, I mean, you are a goal scorer. Do you remember? Can you remember goals? Like, could you walk me through all 3 of the goals from Thursday and know exactly how they unfolded?
Maybe. I think it was, my first 2 were kind of just turnovers and, an odd man rush. And my third one was kind of, Hughie just dumped it deep and it bounced off 3 people and goalie put it right on my stick, and I shot it before he had a chance of getting back to it. So, you remember everything, or you don't remember all the details, but you remember how they go in and what kind of led up to them.
So, in Motzko, your head coach has talked about that when you start feeling it, the puck just starts going in the net. Can you explain kind of how that works with you?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's just a confidence thing. It's like if I know I can go out there and score a goal, it gives me that confidence to kind of hold the puck a little bit longer, make a play, get open in certain scenarios where I wouldn't want to go because I was kind of afraid to get into that spot, and then a turnover happens where if I'm playing with confidence, I'm kind of free. I'm playing with the puck well, and I'm shooting the puck a lot, and so I think it's just when I get on, I'm happy with how I'm playing. I'm not afraid to shoot the puck, and I'm not afraid to take chances, and I think that's kind of the main thing.
You mentioned after that Thursday game, and then again, I think even with me when we did a little post-game locker room session, that Jackson Nelson had told you, hey, shoot some more. One, he wants the assist, as you mentioned, but two, and you took it to heart a little bit in this regional, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I had 15 or 16 shots in those two games combined, so, yeah, I mean, you're not going to score goals if you don't put the puck on the net. So, this weekend I definitely wasn't afraid to shoot the puck, and I think both my line mates were pretty happy with me.
On many teams in the country, you would probably be a top line wing, right? You'd be a number one. And look, the one line that you guys have, the top line, as everyone talks about, is a really good line. So how important is it, one, that you guys got the depth, but you can provide scoring on the quote? And again, I say this with all respect. I'm not trying, but the quote second or third line getting goals from you or your line mates. How important is that in these kind of postseason hockey games?
Yeah, well, I mean, Hugelin has been, his whole line has been unbelievable for us the entire year. So it's like, we have Minanelli and Nevs's line, and then you obviously got Nyes and Cooley and Snuggerud, but I mean, Hugelin is a guy that you could put out there against their first line, and we're sitting on the bench breathing easy because he's such an unbelievable player. I mean, he's in the offensive zone the entire time against the best lines, and so when we played St. Cloud, we kind of knew we were going to win because they were kind of cutting their line short. They were only playing two lines, and we're not afraid to play 3 or 4 lines the entire game. And so, like you said, our depth is unbelievable for us, and that's kind of the reason that we've been having such a good season. So, I mean, not only just goals this line, but Hugelin has been unbelievable for us the entire year. I mean, his stats kind of are a little bit lower than we expected because he's such an unbelievable player. Like, we really expected him to excel this season, and he's been unbelievable for us, and we're very happy to have him. Yeah,
and he was right last year on that top line for late in the year last year with Ben Myers and Nyes, and I remember, I think he was the key guy in the game winner, right, against UMass.
Yeah, made that. I mean, he held the puck for 35 seconds, and then made an unbelievable pass to Myers, and he won it in overtime. And so, yeah, he's been a key player for us. I mean, second half of last year and basically this entire season, it's it's good to kind of get him going again now that we're going into the Frozen Four.
So I asked you about the hat trick. Then you come out, as you mentioned, Coach Motzko was insistent that you guys come out sharp. You were, and then you got the first goal on the Saturday game as well. Take me through that, and what did that mean just to get one in the net? At that point.
Yeah, I mean, it was like right after a power play, so I was already out there for a minute and a half, 2 minutes almost, and and me and Nelly kind of had a 2-on-2, so I just kind of followed him into the zone just in case kind of a turnover happened. I was able to jump on it, and he spun out and saw me, and I just didn't want to hold on to it too long and create a turnover, so I just kind of put it on the net and hit off the goalie's glove and trickled in, and I was obviously pretty excited, and Nelly was pretty happy that he finally got it. He's starting to get on the board again, which is really big for him. I mean, he had a little bit slower second half as far as points go, but now he's really kicking in gear and playing his best hockey.
And when you get a ricochet empty net goal off the sidewall, that helps too late for Jackson Nelson.
Yeah,
that was a crazy looking goal for sure, which we can talk about a little bit more later on. But in terms of that too, I thought. On that power play, Close makes a big save on a breakaway, right? There was a turnover kind of out front, and that's a big swing. You go from, I mean, if he doesn't make that save, let's say the guy nets it, it's one zip, empty or shorthanded, but he makes the save, and then it was 8-9 seconds after the power play, you guys get the score. So almost a 2-goal swing there, right?
Yeah, I mean, Micah Miller has been unbelievable on their penalty kill the entire year. I think he maybe had an empty net goal against us earlier in the year, or maybe it was another game that I was watching. But he's scored empty or penalty kill goals before, and so we were obviously kind of nervous that. Justin's been unbelievable for us the entire year. So he's always a guy that I'm going to have confidence in, and we put our confidence into him the entire year, and he's been unbelievable.
Yeah, he had that save, and then their goalie, the Huskies goalie, was pretty good. You guys were peppering him for much of that first period. It could have been a 3 or 4-0 game. I mean, he made a couple of fancy saves there.
Yeah, I mean, it was early on. He was a little bit shaky, and but I mean, pucks were just bouncing bad for him. And then, I mean, he was still recovering and making unbelievable secondary saves. So, even when things were going bad for him, he was kind of making the best out of the opportunity. So, we thought he played unbelievable, and Comer's goal kind of solidified that win for us. But I mean, it's a Comer slap shot from the blue line with Nyes in front of the net. I mean, not many goalies in the entire country are going to be able to see the puck or save it. So, I mean, he kind of got unlucky with that one, and then we kind of just took out from there.
You mentioned the Jackson Lacombe goal that made it 3-1, and again, there's still some hockey to be played there, and you know that St. Cloud's one of the top handful of teams in the country, so you can't breathe easy. But what did that goal mean? I mean, 3-1 makes it a whole different deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had a 1-goal lead earlier, and they scored to tie it, so we knew that a 1-goal lead wasn't safe. And just a 2-goal lead kind of helps you breathe a little bit easier and kind of relax to play your game a little bit better and not be afraid to take chances. So once we got that 2-goal lead, we kind of started staying on top of pucks and not really giving them anything. And so I think that's kind of when the game kind of opened up more for us was when we were able to play on top of the puck and play defense better. They weren't really able to do much. And even once they pull the goalie, it's just a different deal if it's 2-1 or 3-1 at that point. You got to get 2. That's different than 1. Yeah, right? Absolutely. I mean we were waiting in the D zone and hoping they don't score if it's a 1-goal game, or if it's a 2-goal game, you can kind of shoot for an empty net like Jackson did. And, if it's an icing, it doesn't really matter because it's still a 2-goal game. So you're kind of have the ability to take more chances in a 2-goal game on the defensive end.
I haven't thought there, and you can, as you know, I'm learning hockey still as we go. I love it, but you guys got the power play there with 4 minutes or so to go. That you weren't as aggressive maybe at that point. There were times where you were just running, not you personally, but the team was running time off because and if it was a 1-goal lead, maybe that power play's handled differently.
Yeah,
do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's a 1-goal lead you're trying to score, and if a 2-goal lead late in the game like that, I mean. When they first took it, we were kind of trying to hold it just to run time down, try to get as close to 2 minutes as possible. And, that's a huge advantage for us if we're on the power play that late in the game because they can't pull their goalie and, it gives us more of an opportunity to win the game.
And then we had mentioned Lacombe's goal. How about his assist on the long pass to Cooley? I mean, that was a pretty nice assist, and then Cooley can do what he does, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's an unbelievable distributor. I mean, earlier in the season we played Michigan at home, and on the goal that I scored with a couple minutes left in the game, I mean, he iced the puck and Cooley beat it out. I mean, he reads those plays so well, and he's been unbelievable for us the entire year in making those plays, and he's so smart with hockey, and so he understands offensive plays really well, and he's one of the best defensive defensemen in the entire world too. I mean, you go against him in practice, and the guy's got a 6-foot-long stick, and he's all over you, and he's got the best edges ever, and so he's been really, really good, and we're really happy to have him.
Yeah, it's as we mentioned, it's a deep team and a lot of good things happening for sure, and that's why such a high level of excitement heading into the Frozen Four after the big week in Fargo. In terms of let's talk about Cooley too for a minute. In terms of his stick skills and then his skating and his stop and start and what has he meant to this team coming in as a first year player?
Yeah, I mean he's really stepped into it. I mean, in the first half he kind of struggled early. He obviously wasn't getting the points that he wanted because we know, last 15 games he's had 30-something points. I mean, we know what he can do. And, earlier in the season he was kind of, getting a point every other game. And he was kind of struggling early and he was getting frustrated. And he kind of figured it out, just kind of play to have fun. I mean, you're in college, you're enjoying yourself, you're having a lot of fun playing with your best friends. And, once that switch kind of flipped, I mean, he's been the best player in the country. And so, it's kind of annoying when you're in practice and you got a guy that's 5'10", 170 in front of you and you can't hit him off the puck because he's so good on his edges. So, he's a different animal. He's unbelievable at puck protection. And he's a really good guy too off the ice. So, everyone loves him. And it's kind of, we were kind of a little worried earlier in the year that, high draft pick, he was going to come in and kind of be arrogant. I mean, he's been the most humbled, unbelievable guy to be around, and he's absolutely best friends with everybody on the team, and all the coaches think he's funny, all the players love him, training staff, everyone loves the guy. So, I'm more happy with how he is off the ice than how he is on the ice.
Yeah, and he's pretty good on the ice, that's for sure. You mentioned his edges, and that's a thing, again, just observing, trying to figure everything out is, it seems usually if you have a guy that, one, is his size, and two, is such a highly skilled player that maybe that part of the game would be he's not going to be great in puck battles or his balance in the corners, but the guy is unbelievable. Like, he comes out with you're like, how did he get the puck? There's two guys twice his size. He doesn't fall down much. I mean, he stays on his skates. I mean, he's in the St. Cloud regular season game here in the overtime, he just I thought at the end of that, like they were trying to stall some time, and he just went in and kind of tackled the dude and said, we're going to finish this thing.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, he's unbelievable on his edges. I mean, it's you can't get the puck away from him in practice, and when he gets the puck in below the goal line and he's trying to make a play, it's pretty crazy how he's always looking for plays while he's holding the puck with somebody on him. So it's he's, as much as it is puck protection, it's also him being able to make those plays out of that puck protection. So, he's excelling at things that people kind of take a long time to master, and he's, 18 years old.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to watch.
I'm trying to think, was it which goal? He assisted on one of your hat trick goals, kind of he left it for you, right?
Yeah.
Which was a really nice looking pass.
Yeah, I mean, it was, he kind of made a play in the neutral zone where he kind of diced through three people. So it was, and then he in stride backhand saucer pass to me in the middle. And so, I think I've been on the ice with him 3 or 4 times this entire year, and I've scored 3 goals with him. So it's, it kind of shows you can kind of put anybody with him, and they'll be great hockey players.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch that line and the whole group for sure. All right, so second straight Frozen Four for you guys. What do you take from last year's experience in Boston last year, and can implement it maybe as you guys get ready for next week now?
Yeah, I think last year we were kind of more like, focused on the show, like just being in the Frozen Four and, all the cool things that come with it. I think this year we're kind of more dialed in on the actual games. And so, I think we're learning from last year is we weren't really prepared enough. I mean, Mankato took it to us, even though we scored first and we were up 1-0 after the first period. It's, we weren't really dialed into the game, and they kind of took it to us the entire game. And so I think we're going to be more dialed in for the games this year. It's obviously going to be hard being in 90-degree weather for the first time in 3.5 months. So we're obviously really excited to get out there and finally play again.
Yeah, and Boston I know I asked you right after the game on Saturday, and you mentioned that maybe you and some guys had seen them play Michigan earlier in the year, but at that point, obviously, you're not going to look. Now, I'm assuming you've seen a little bit more of them, and I'm sure next week you'll really have an idea, but what can you tell us about the Terriers that you know right now?
Yeah, I mean, they got some unbelievable defensemen, some unbelievable forwards, and they're an extremely skilled team. I mean, I think their game matches up really well with ours. It's pretty close, and they want to outscore teams, and so I think it should be a really good game. And I think we have enough depth to where we'll be able to match up against anybody that they put on the ice, and so we're obviously really excited to play them. I mean, I've never played them in my 4-year career, so it's always exciting when you get to play a new team.
And, of course, you're talking about two of the blue bloods here, right? Minnesota and Boston. They faced each other in a championship game before years ago, way back, almost 50 years ago, I think, or more than 50 years ago now. And then in the tournament a lot. And anyone who's watched the movie Miracle, I mean, any hockey guy is going to watch that. And there's that scene in there. I've seen it tweeted out a few times where they talk about a lot of guys from Minnesota and Boston. So here you are, right?
I mean, it's obviously, two great programs, and so, we imagine that the fans will be great for both teams, and it should be a hard-fought game. You mentioned the fans. It was the first thing maybe you said when I asked you to start this podcast what it was like last weekend in Fargo. There's a lot of Gopher fans I know excited. They're trying to figure out ways to get down there because it's a little pricey to get to Tampa right now, but there's also a lot of Minnesotans who spend this time of the year down there already. What do you think the crowd will be like? Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited to see. I mean, I know there was Minnesota fans that were already booking their tickets at the beginning of the year because they had such high expectations for our team, and so I know those people are probably pretty happy that we actually made it. So, I think the fans will be great. I mean, a lot of families going to be going. It's kind of hard to get tickets from teammates this week because everyone was already going. So, it should be a good time, and definitely an exciting time for Gopher hockey. In Fargo, it was probably 80% of the building for sure on Saturday was maroon and gold. What kind of boost does that give you guys? I mean, it's, we scored that first goal of the game and the Minnesota chant goes off and it was insane how loud it was. I mean, playing in a smaller rink than Mariucci, it's obviously, it's pretty electric because of how small it is. And then, you get the reverb from the fans cheering, and it's so loud when it just feels like they're right on top of you. But I mean, they were unbelievable in the game, and so we were really happy to have them. And even the first game we were playing Canisius, and they're still insanely loud, and they're just it's a Thursday afternoon game, so it's like you don't really expect a ton of people to be there, and they're almost selling out the place. So they've been unbelievable for us the entire year, and we're happy to have them.
What kind of pride do you and your teammates take? Because you guys have kind of been at the center of, I guess I would call it, this revival of fan support. And you're a hockey guy, and your brother was part of this, where the Big Ten comes along, and people are somewhat bitter about the lack of rivalries, and attendance dipped, and team was still playing well, but it just various reasons. There were other reasons too, ticket price increases and different things, and all of a sudden now Mariucci has been electric now for 2 years. How much pride do you take in that? I mean, I'm thinking of that Michigan State game, the Michigan game, those Big Ten games. I mean, that was sold out in a day, both of them.
Yeah, I mean, when I came here and I watched my brother when he was here, and they were the number one overall team in the country, and they were selling out to their fans, and it just shows. I mean, you play good hockey, they're gonna come want to watch. And so, I mean, obviously having that nice Cooley Snuggerud line helps, because I mean, you gotta come watch them if you haven't watched them. So it obviously helps having them. But just playing good hockey is kind of an attraction in itself. I mean, my freshman year we weren't great. We started to get good towards the end of the season, and then obviously COVID hit, and we had a really good season that year. And then
no one could come.
Yeah, no one could come. And I think that kind of helped too, was, that COVID year. And then, we were really, really good. And then the next year we came back, and we had almost everyone coming back. And so fans were obviously really excited to come watch us. And that definitely helped with as far as fans coming back. And then once I kind of got back into the swing of things and how much fun it is to be at Mariucci watching the Gophers play, it definitely helped getting them there.
Yeah, and that atmosphere, you get 10,000 people in the building, right? It's a heck of a home ice edge.
Yeah, I mean, especially the championship game. I mean, you go out for warm-ups, and the entire student section was already full. I mean, you're sitting on top of the Michigan end, and the entire student section's full. I mean, I would be pretty scared to go warm up if I was Michigan. So, I mean, they were unbelievable, and they were really loud of just about every single game. So, I mean, it's you're playing Notre Dame at December, and the entire place is packed. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's like just they're just happy to be there, and they're excited to come watch Gopher hockey again. And we're obviously really excited with ourselves being able to do that and get them back into the rink, and we're very happy that they're kind of joining us along with our journey.
One of the cool things, too, that at the games I've been to, and I try to get to them, sometimes my basketball schedule, doesn't allow it, but all the young people that come now, like there are kids everywhere, with their hockey hair and their hats on backwards or their stocking caps, and I see them come down and they're banging on the glass down there. I mean, what's that like, knowing that? I suppose you were one of those kids too, right, running around Mariucci. But it seems in the last couple of years that the young families that are bringing kids to the games has increased too.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's all the guys that were when my brother was here, it was all those people that were coming with their parents. So now they're finally getting older and having kids and bringing their kids to the game, and kind of giving their kids the same experience that they had when they were younger. So I think they're starting to offer more family plans to get families to come to the game. And it's obviously tough to get to a hockey game. I mean, I would know. I mean, 3 older brothers and then my parents. It was obviously hard to for my parents to buy us all 4 tickets to go to a hockey game. So, I think they've done a good job helping out with the family plans and things like that to kind of get more families at the game.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so you're obviously from a hockey family. When do you remember putting on skates for the first time?
I think it was about 2.5 years old. Happy Acres was an outdoor rink that we had near Blaine, and I think that was my first hockey memory that I've ever had, was my dad holding out a stick for me to hold on to, and I was kind of just shuffling along with him. And so I was always frustrated earlier in my hockey career because I was kind of learning to skate, so I couldn't hold a stick. And that always frustrated me because I always played mini hockey with a stick, and I didn't want to skate with just my hands. I always wanted to have a stick in my hands when I was skating. So when I was first learning how to skate, it was always super frustrating for me because I always wanted to just play hockey instead of learn how to skate.
And skating is a key part if you're going to be on the ice, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, you're the youngest of four, right?
Yep.
So how was that? Did your brothers pick on you? Did they beat you up? Did they help you along? How did it all impact who you turned out to be as a player?
It was definitely a lot more picking on than helping out. I mean, when I was younger, they would force me to play goalie, and they would do 3-on-0s on me, and they would say, okay, you can't leave until you make 10 saves in a row. Now I would make 10 saves in a row, and they would say, oh, that last one didn't count, and then shoot it in the net, and they'd be like, oh, we have to restart now. So it was like they were always picking on me, but they're always so helpful about it. I mean, when they were doing it, I mean, they're always picking on me for the right reasons. They're making fun of the way that I shot or the way that I skated to make me kind of change that things to just get better as I grew up. And so it obviously helped being able to go to all their hockey games and watch how they do things and watch them excel and kind of follow in their footsteps and do whatever it was that they were doing. It was always when I would go to their games, I mean, all my friends would be running around and I'd be sitting in the stands watching them just because I kind of enjoyed the game so much when I was younger. And it was much as they picked on me off the ice, when they're on the ice, I was definitely paying attention.
Did you ever, because you did that, think that you might want to be a goalie? Or did that tell you, no, I'm not going to be a goalie because this sucks?
I always wanted to be I still wanted to be a goalie.
Is that
to
right?
This day. I mean, it's just my dad would never, ever let me be a goalie. I mean, I think it was the idea that he would have to buy me new pads every single year. And, instead I grew up getting all my brother's old gears because they fit me when I was younger. And
sure.
So, I don't think he wanted to buy me all the goalie gear because he knew how expensive it was. I mean, owning a hockey store, I mean, you realize all the prices. Yeah. And so, he would never let me be a goalie, but to this day, I still wish I was a goalie.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How about that? Were you pretty good blocking your brother's shots in when you were younger?
I got pretty good. Yeah, I wasn't good to start, but I ended up getting pretty good at goalie. So
now you've obviously developed just a wicked shot. How did that come about? Just work, practice?
Yeah, I mean, my dad has his own shooting school, so it's when I was growing up, he was kind of teaching me new things, and my oldest brother Johnny has an unbelievable shot, and so just kind of practice every single day. And when I was younger, mom and dad owned a store, so they had a little shooting room in the back. So I'd just go to them with work in the summer every day because I had nothing else to do, and I'd just go shoot pucks for fun. So it was as much repetition as it was just kind of kind of having anger when you shoot and wanting to shoot the puck through the net every single time you do. And every single time you practice, it kind of gives you that, little bit of edge in the game to, kind of shoot the puck hard.
Hockey, too, seems to me to be such an instinctive game. You have to have certain instincts if you're going to play at a high level. So how important do you think it was, as you mentioned, you're going to hockey games, and instead of running around under the bleachers with your buddies, you're watching the game and observing it. And I suppose that's how you pick up the important instincts of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's you kind of develop an understanding of like how players move. I mean, if you check over your shoulder and 4 seconds later, no one's going to be in those same positions. So you got to kind of understand when you first look where those players are going to be moving to. And so, I think just especially when you're younger and you're watching all the older players kind of make the right plays, whereas when you're younger, some guys make the wrong plays. You kind of develop an understanding of what should happen. And I think that kind of helped when I was younger because, being able to have an older mindset while a younger player, you kind of get yourself into better habits, and you can kind of develop your hockey game faster. So having 3 older brothers and being able to kind of watch the things that they do and the habits that they had definitely helped.
And talk about our sponsor real quick, and I got a couple more questions for you, and then we'll let you go. Bryce Brodzinski, our guest here on the Go Gopher podcast, which is sponsored by Affinity Plus. It's your local credit union, proudly serving Minnesota since 1930. If you're a current Gopher student or a proud Gopher alum, you're eligible to join a financial that wants to build a meaningful banking relationship and put you first. Meet with a local employee at any of their branches statewide. There's one right near campus on University here in Minneapolis as well. To learn more or find other ways to connect, go to affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. That's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. They sponsor our Go Gopher podcast. They're sponsoring postseason hockey on our Gopher radio network, and they're sponsoring our player profile feature here with Bryce Brodzinski. You guys, the Brodzinski family, has an interesting relationship, obviously, with St. Cloud and Minnesota. Minnesota. So last week's game was an interesting one. In fact, you were pretty close. Not only pretty close, you had been committed to be a Husky. Take us back through that whole process. And I know Coach Motzko and your dad were teammates, and that relationship was important. So take us back to that. I'm curious how it all unfolded and when the decisions were made.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just after my freshman year of high school. My game kind of started to excel. I mean, I was playing for the Blades when I was, freshman in high school, and I was playing with some of the best players in the state of Minnesota. So, that's kind of when things started to shift for me. And, the first day Coach Motzko called me and asked me to go to St. Cloud. I mean, I obviously said yes right away. I mean, there was no even thinking about it, and I didn't want to go anywhere else. I mean, my brothers were there, and my brother was there, and he played for him. And, I had a good relationship with Coach Motzko at the time because my dad played with him in college. And so, it was when my brother was at St. Cloud, I was going to the locker room, and I was in the coach's room, and I was talking to the coach, and it was obviously a pretty easy decision for me, and it was a familiar decision for me. So, when he kind of made the switch over to Minnesota, there was, he brought me out here to kind of show me all the new things that they had, and the rink and the locker room, and Beerman Athletic Facility, and it was kind of a pretty easy decision just after seeing all the stuff. So it was kind of more of a commitment to him than it was to kind of any school that I wanted to go to.
And take me back through how your dad and him did they both play for the Gophers for a bit, and then they ended up at St. Cloud?
No, just my dad played for the Gophers.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
Motzko was just at St. Cloud.
At St. Cloud, and then they ended up being teammates for a while, and then just have been friends since.
Yeah, they've just been. Hockey's such a once you meet somebody and you're on their team for a year, you're best friends with them for life. So they're obviously super close, and kind of frustrating thing because I'll do something bad at practice or in a game, and Coach Motzko will text my dad, and then my dad will text me yelling at me about it. So it's obviously nice being able to get that feedback from a different side other than your coach yelling at you. So sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, but kind of having that relationship with him, we're not afraid to talk to each other about certain scenarios, and so that definitely helps.
And I know that obviously through that time, your brother's St. Cloud's been at a high level. Coach Motzko got him going, and now Brett Larson continued that. Your brother played he was on the national title team, but he had that crazy leg injury, yep. Which was in addition to just it being terrible because he couldn't play. That was in the height of COVID, so he ends up like in a Colorado hospital alone, right? I mean, no one, because COVID, they wouldn't let people go visit, and it had to be brutal. Yeah,
and then he's flying home with by himself on a plane after just having surgery on his leg, and I mean, it was obviously a pretty scary thing. I mean, it was kind of right after we lost to Mankato, I think it was, or not Mankato. Oh yeah, maybe Mankato. And, I'm sitting in the locker room checking my phone, not even worried about my game because, my brother just had a pretty serious leg injury. And so, I mean, he was having a really good season too. I mean, you never know what could have happened, where he could have signed. And, but I mean, luckily, kind of with COVID, they gave you that 5th-year option. So, he kind of came back in record time and, put up another pretty good season. So, kind of his comeback from that leg injury and how quick of a turnaround it was. And, we were definitely it was pretty cool. I mean, he scored first game back. So, we were definitely happy with how fast he came back, but it's just such a crappy time. I mean, playoff hockey is kind of the most exciting time of the year. And so, he kind of got to miss out on that his senior year when they're, one of the best teams in the country. So, he kind of got unlucky with that.
So you mentioned that Coach Motzko will sometimes text your dad. What outside of that, what is it like playing for Bob Motzko?
I mean, it's getting a little different now. I mean, once you get older and you start to understand him a little bit more, it's, freshman year, you're kind of scared of him, and, he's yelling at you, and you're kind of listening, and, whatever he says, you're kind of taking it to heart. And, once you get older, you kind of realize he's just saying it because he has to kind of get a little bit of fire under you, or, now that I'm older, it's starting to get funny with some of the stuff that he says. You don't realize how funny he is until you kind of get to know him. And so, he's a really good guy, and he's definitely one of my favorite coaches that I've ever had.
Last couple here for Bryce Brodzinski. You think about hockey, and you mentioned you were 2 when you first remember putting skates on, and the experiences you've had, the different places you've been able to go. I know you had some time in the juniors, right, in Omaha, and then came back and played high school. And where are some of the coolest places that you've been able to go and play?
Well, when I was 10, I played in the brick tournament. So that was up in Edmonton, and it was like this little rink in the middle of a mall. And they had like a skyline above the rink, so the light was shining in on you. And in between games, you're going to the amusement park in the mall, and that was the first time I ever played with Jackson Nelson too. So
no kidding.
He was 6'3" when he was a 10-year-old too. So it was kind of crazy. But that was definitely probably the most fun I've had ever playing hockey. My entire family went. That was kind of one of our first vacations.
10 years old.
Yeah, it's tough when you're kind of growing up and with 3 older brothers that all play hockey too. You don't get to go on many family vacations because someone has a hockey tournament every single weekend. So, that was kind of one of our first ones where we kind of took a trip as a family. And so, just that. And then, all through my high school career, finally getting to play in the state tournament my senior year and, my best friends on that team. And, that was definitely probably the most fun experiences I've had.
What is the Mr. Hockey? Is it a trophy? What do you when you win that? What do you get?
It's like a little glass bowl.
Okay.
It was actually it was pretty cool. It's kind of got engraving on the side with my name and whatnot, and then a little Minnesota Wild jersey. So yeah.
Where is that now? Where do you have it? Do your parents have it displayed? Do you have it at your?
Yeah, my mom and dad have the bowl. I think it's in their living room. Couldn't tell you where the jersey is. I don't know where I put that thing, but was never like a huge Minnesota Wild fan. I always just liked hockey in general. I never kind of picked teams. I always kind of picked players that I liked. It was obviously a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, and you have. I'm getting your whole family mixed up, but you've had one of your brothers has played for the Kings for a while, right?
Yep,
Johnny, and where he's played for others too, right?
Yeah, he played for the Kings. He played for San Jose, and now he's with the Rangers. So, he's obviously he's in one of the best organizations in the world now, and he's in the AHL right now, but he's kind of that next man up guy. So, anyone gets hurt, anyone gets traded, anyone gets sent down, he's kind of the next guy up. So, he's kind of right on that bubble on one of the best teams in the world. It kind of shows you he can kind of play for a lot of these other teams that are in the NHL.
For sure. Give us an update on your other brothers now, what they're all doing.
So Michael is out in Orlando playing for the Solar Bears in the East Coast, and then Easton's in Jacksonville in the East Coast. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, they're both pretty close to each other and, playing each other. A couple nights I've gone home with to just have dinner with my mom. They'll be like, "Oh, Easton and Michael are playing each other tonight. You can just come watch their game." Like, oh, didn't even realize anymore they play each other 10 times a year now. So, they're both out in Florida enjoying the weather, and I get Snapchats every other day of them golfing. So, a little bit jealous of
while you're
the
trying to shovel the sidewalk.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to make it next week?
Unsure. I know they'll definitely watch, but I think it's kind of 3-4 hour drive for Easton, and then 2 hour drive for Michael. So they might be able to come, but I'm sure they might have games of their own.
Yeah, that's true. You got to check their schedule. Well, hey, it's been fun. Thank you so much for popping in and joining us here. This has been a great ride, and let's go get a couple more in Florida next week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, there he is, Bryce Brodzinski. It's episode number 64. I hope you enjoyed getting to know University of Minnesota standout forward Bryce Brodzinski a little bit better. My thanks to him for spending some time with us as we get ready for the Frozen Four next week. He's a very impressive young man and player. The Gophers' first game is next Thursday against Boston U, and then the hope is the championship game appearance follows. That comes up a week from Saturday. The Frozen Four, as mentioned, is in Tampa. The Go Gopher Podcast, episode 64, is presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're buying or selling a business, visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com. We're also partnered with Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, a locally member-owned full-service financial invested in you. You can learn more at affinityplus.org/GoGophers. That's affinityplus.org/GoGophers. They sponsor our player profile, including Bryce Brodzinski's appearance today. We're also brought to you by State Farm agent Tony Hoagland. Again, I'd invite you to listen to past podcasts, and please right now click the subscribe button to the Go Gopher podcast. It's free to subscribe and free to listen at any time. And please share the link to the podcast with others so they can subscribe and listen as well. We'll talk again next week.